I'm the computer man. I'm the Macintosh man with the virus scan. Moving your files all across the land. Some Photoshop filters in After Dark. Get your Microsoft Office, express your quark. Millions of colors with a VRAM chip. How about a system crash that'll make you flip? I'm the computer man. I'm saying Windows 95 is plug and pray. If it's fonts you want, you gotta go to Macway. Log right on as my personal guest. You'll have Macintosh software on your desk. Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm the computer.
Good evening, K-Squid listeners. Good evening, Santa Cruz, Monterey, Central Coast, and beyond. My name is Luigi Opito, owner of Pleasure Point Computers, right by the beach here in beautiful Santa Cruz, California. And for the next hour, I am your tour guide into a world of wonder, magic, information, and a lot of frustration. Sorry, we're talking about the internet and the world of computing. I am your computer man. Welcome to one of the most helpful, friendly tech counters you have ever visited. And I'd like to welcome you to your Tuesday night, to your local radio station, your local KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org, and always broadcasting on our app and online. We've got it all over the place. We are also at 89.5 and 89.7 if you're driving up and down the coast anywhere, or if you're on the Google Play Store or Apple App Store, you can download our app and listen to us anywhere you are in the world with a cell phone connection, internet connection. Pretty cool. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday night, to your local radio station, and your hour of computer madness that we're going to be going through here for the next hour. I'd like to thank everybody for listening tonight, listening to all the amazing input that I keep getting throughout the week. Still, it's so awesome to hear from everybody. If you want to reach out to me, Luigi, Luigi, at pleasurepointcomputers.com. I'm also at Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org, if that was a little bit easier to remember. I get to that email as often as I can, but the Luigi at pleasurepointcomputers.com will be the one if you really want to get hold of me quick. I'd love to hear from you there. Or even quicker, you can give me a call here tonight, 831-900-5773. It's 831-900-KSQD. And from that, also, we're going to be doing some amazing other things. You can also check out On Air at ksqd.org. That'll show up right here. But while you're out there in the world, jump on to our website where you can listen to our 2-week audio archive, which is really cool because we keep all of our music shows on there as well. So you can listen to any of the music shows we've had for the last 2 weeks. And if you're looking for something just a little bit different to listen to, jump on there and fire it up. And it's a good, solid way to get some different music into your headphones throughout the day if you're just tired of other things that are going on. Or if there's a lot of news coming at you, you can just jump over to our music side and just let all the music meld it away. It's pretty cool. And while you're on that KSQD website, that's right, you can jump over to our donate button, which is how we are here today. That's right, we are here because of you, our listeners, our supporters, the people who make KSQD possible is you. I just availed the seat that I get to come in and sit down and talk to all you amazing people, and I'm stoked to do it. So, but we can't do it without you. So hit that donate button, make it reoccurring, let us know what's coming in every month, and we sincerely thank you for it. I thank you for it, and I want to, and I will every week. So if you'd like to reach out to me after the show, again, our phone numbers, or actually the email, Luigi, Luigi, at pleasurepointcomputers.com. That's the email address. If you want to reach us out here, you can do it through the on the show, during the show, through the app. If you have the app, you can just jump on that little voice pop function at the bottom, little envelope, and send us a quick note. It shows up here in my inbox. Or you can give us a call, 831-900-5773, and we'll answer that phone and see what's going on with you. We are here every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 p.m. We're all about updates, new devices, testimonials, scams, and you, our call-ins. What's going on with your stuff, your bench, and your electronics. Again, that phone number, 900-5773, or on air at ksqd.org, and we can take care of it tonight. Okay, well, as always, we always start off with like scams and things going on. There's not a lot of new scams. It's just kind of the same old stuff that keeps showing its ugly head. But of course, I always recommend going over to cyber101.com. I keep checking the website. They don't change it, which is great. They update it, but they don't change the overall philosophy of it, which is no data mining, no signing up, no ads, just information in a clear, concise way that's quick, that you can learn about something quickly before you start losing interest. 3 5-minute videos, or 3 to 5 minute videos on this website for different subjects that you're interested in. Could be multi-factor authentication, ransomware, malware, device security, all the stuff that kind of goes hand in hand with what we talk about here. So check it out, cyber101.com. And they have, again, there's just a lot of good information there. And you can also sign up and kind of keep track of your training as you go, or not, and just watch some videos. So it's pretty nice to do. Let's see. We've got a lot of current events going on today. let's see. Let's get into some of those current events, and then we can go through some of the other tips and tricks I've got here. So, one of the main scams before we get into that. This one is going around. This actually had stopped a while ago, but now has come back into its ugly head again. There is a Cyrillic A that is starting to be floated around on some of these malicious websites. You'll get an email from Citibank, and it looks like Citibank or whatever, and you have a link that just says www.citibank.com. And you look at it and you go, okay, Citibank.com. You move your mouse over, it says Citibank.com down at the bottom. You're like, okay, that looks good to me. I think I've followed all the steps the computer man told me to do. I think I'm going to go to the website. But that A is not an English A. It is actually a Cyrillic A, which then leads to a different character set in the ASCII character set on your computer, which then means it takes you to a completely different place than Citibank.com. It's from this. So when you program a computer, right? Just to break it down real quick without putting everyone to sleep. When you program things, you can import character sets, right? You can import, if you're going to be receiving Korean, you can import the Korean character set. You can import these different character sets so that when people put in inputs, your program can understand what those inputs are and then convert it into machine language and then do the things it needs to do. One of those things is an ASCII character set, ASCII. It's a standard character set for the keys on your keyboard, right? And one ASCII character set is for uppercase letters. The next set is for lowercase numbers, and there's different values that each one has. So an uppercase letter A and a lowercase letter A look different software-wise than each other because they're different things, even though they're the same letter A, just uppercase and lowercase. So this A, this Cyrillic A, has a completely different value, which means a completely different letter, which means a completely different word, which means a completely different input, which means a completely different website. So here you are with Citibank.com or maybanktoyou.com, which is a completely real website, and you click on the link and it takes you someplace completely malicious and you go, I don't know what I did wrong. And honestly, without having both of them next to each other, you wouldn't know either. The A's look correct and they're not. So in fact, the A that you would normally write with handwriting is actually a Cyrillic A, and the A that has almost like a loop on the top that no one actually writes out, but when you type out the letter A, in fact, let me see just real quick. I'm kind of curious. If I go over here and I put a letter A into that, yes. So if you put a letter A into your browser, that letter A, when you look at it, the way the shape of it is, no one writes the letter A like that. Everyone actually writes the A in handwriting like the Cyrillic letter A. So that makes it even worse, even harder to not get screwed up with it. So it's a common thing. Anyone that's just an average online user will fall for that. I would fall for that because I'm not looking at that. But at the same time, we could thwart it if we follow the rules. And one of the rules is not clicking on a link inside your email. Right? That's one of our rules. So if you were to go, oh, I got an email from Citibank, I should go check my app. I should open a new tab and go to Citibank.com, right? You've heard this a million times, and you're going to keep hearing a million times because it's going to be driven into your brain. And then when you get to that point and someone goes, oh my gosh, I got this email from somebody, and you go to click on the link because you're not thinking, you go, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to click on that link. I'm supposed to go elsewhere. So so that's, you're supposed to open up a new tab and do that, or click on the app, right? And that'll take you where you need to go. So Cyrillic A's, woohoo! That's super fun. And again, tricksy. Nothing better than doing things online and having to watch your back every 5 minutes. Okay, another thing. This one's actually kind of cool. And again, as I say, it's kind of rare in these days now that I bring you cool things that our computers are doing because everything seems to be kind of screwing with you. All the cool stuff's already come out, I guess. But Microsoft has released a free-to-play AI-generated version of a video game from the 90s. And you're like, what? What does that even mean? So back in the 90s, Quake 2, and in the early 2000s, Quake 3. In fact, I knew a guy who had... you would never know. He looked like this bodybuilder guy, and he's like, you want to see my Quake 3 tattoo? And I was like, you have a Quake 3 tattoo? And he goes, yeah. And he opens his shirt like a Superman style, and he's got this Quake 3 tattoo on his chest, right? And I was like, wow. I wonder what that's going to be like in 2 or 3 years. And that was 24 years ago or something like that. I think he actually worked at Gateway with me or something. Anyway, random. But Microsoft came out with this thing where And again, just to give you more background or whatever, Wolfenstein 3D back in the day. Wolfenstein 3D, one of the first first-person shooter type games where you're walking down like a hallway, and then you go around the corner of the hallway, and there's a dude, and you shoot the dude, and and you continue on and get his weapons and get his ammo or whatever, and continue on. But every time you go on that same map, right, you go around the corner, and that dude is right there. That's part of the program, right? That's part of the game. The idea with the AI stuff is that you jump onto the game, you jump onto this Quake 2 game, which is a more advanced version, and you jump onto the game, and instead of having the same 10 maps you can choose from, 15, 20 maps even, you get an AI-generated map that is totally random that you've never seen before. And characters get dropped in that are totally random and that you've never seen before in random places. And the next time you play, it will never be that same game again. So this is really cool. So it's saying rather than using the preset locations that enemies are in the same time every time you play, the new game's content is generated on the fly by Microsoft AI, based on the content and style of the original Quake 2. So it's seen the game, it's played the game, it knows how the game is played, and probably watched videos of the game being played or something like that, and for a long period of time to know how the game is, and then the AI then goes, okay, well, I can just create those characters and put down the game style in a style that Quake would work or that would use. It's being powered by Muse AI, and it's a generative AI model designed by Microsoft to assist video game developers. Muse itself was developed in partnership with a UK-based game studio called Ninja Theory, and it was trained on data collected from humans playing a 2020 Xbox game called Bleeding Edge. It included more than 1 billion images and controller actions from that collection of data, and in given time, Muse could slowly replicate the visuals and gameplay of an existing video game by learning from this. It's kind of cool. If you want to try it, it's a little low res and kind of in its entry right now, but it's still there. You can try it. It says the resolution is capped. The controls seem slow and laggy by modern standards, but also Microsoft has restricted how long you can play. So PC Mag came out with it. It's from Microsoft, but if you do a search for Microsoft Quake 2 AI, you should be able to get to the Microsoft webpage, and it should show you how and take you to the place. But that's so cool. Like, what a random thing, but also so awesome. Like, I like to play the original Legend of Zelda. Okay, and when I go onto a new screen, there's going to be maybe no guys, maybe 2 guys, maybe 4 guys, but it's always those same guys, and they're always coming out of like kind of the same place, right? But if I were to go to the next screen and it was completely different, and the guys were from some other part way across the map, and they've never shown up like that before, and then the next time I play, they don't show up like that again, it's different. That gives replayability, right? And there's a huge market for that if you can kind of capture that. So cool, very cool. Let's see what else is going on here. So Apple in the end of March flew like 3 to 5. What was it? 5 airplanes? 5 airplane loads of iPhones from India and China, so they could stockpile inventory here in the United States to mitigate potential price increases. That's interesting. So they literally. So they didn't. I wonder how that works. So they could fly airplanes to China, land at the factory, and then load the iPhones into the plane, and then bring them back to the United States. And then, isn't there some type of payment thing that has to happen at that point? Aren't they still importing them at that point? But basically, it said that there's going to be some tariffs taking place on April 9th, but then again, we just heard a new announcement that's going to take care of tonight. Apple has expedited shipments of iPhones and other products to the United States in the final week of March. 5 plane loads, it said, from its factories in India and China to stockpile inventory and mitigate potential price increases. By accumulating sufficient inventory, Apple aims to delay price hikes, particularly in iPhones, until the anticipated iPhone 17 launch this fall. However, other products such as the build-to-order Mac configurations shipped directly from China may be immediately affected. Yeah. So, and this was 2 days ago, so things have already changed. It says additionally, President Trump has threatened to an extra 50% tariff on Chinese imports unless China retracts its 34% retaliatory tariff, potentially escalating a total tariffs to 104%, which is happening tonight. So, Yee. I mean, but then he's also saying that he wants to bring the iPhones here. And I saw that if you were to bring an iPhone to the United States or just have it manufactured in the United States, I saw one article that said it would cost like 30 grand per iPhone. You can only get it like there's only be like a million iPhones they can make. Or I saw another thing that would cost $600 for an iPhone here in the United States. But as of right now, if the iPhones come over with the current tariffs in place, they're going to cost about $2,400, somewhere around the $2,200, $2,400 for the higher end markets and stuff. But it's going to be a lot, man. It's going to be like it's a lot. So, and they're being produced in India and in China. So those two, India had, Indian is right now, it says it's at 27%, but that was 2 days ago. So this could be completely different now. But we'll see what's going on with that. It's just, but it's not a good thing. Okay, another thing that was very, very slightly political, but I thought this was interesting, and this also is kind of like tinfoil hat stuff. I've just been seeing the government delete a lot of things in recent days that really don't need to be deleted. They've got plenty of space. They're not like making space for something else that's there. They're just deleting kind of history a little bit. But it says the U.S. General Services Administration, GSA, recently transitioned from magnetic tape to modern digital storage. It says aims to save about $1 million annually, which in a government office doesn't sound like very much. It's like $2,700 a day. At a government level office, I can't imagine that that's a lot. But so right now, like everything is being stored on magnetic tape, right? Magnetic tape, I think. In fact, I looked it up. I thought it was like 1976 or something. Let's look it up together. Magnetic tape storage release date. Let's see. I think. Oh, okay. So it was before that. Early 50s was using magnetic tape. Awesome. And then IBM 726 in 1952. Awesome. I was way off. Apologies. My computer history is not that as good as it was, or not as good as it is. It's terrible. Anyway, so magnetic tapes came out in the 50s, and they're still good. They still work. They're inexpensive. They store a lot of data, and they're good on the shelf for a long time. But just in the last month or two, the GSA, the U.S. General Services Administration, transitioned from magnetic tape to modern digital storage, aiming to save $1 million annually. Like I said, $2,700 a day. Despite the move, magnetic tape remains still a viable storage solution in various sectors. In 2023 alone, 152.9 exabytes of linear tape storage were shipped, meaning people are still buying it today in 2020, well, at least 2023. Marking a 3.14% increase from the previous year. So it's more, right? So it's still it's still technology that works. It's still technology that's used. It's still a current day technology. The tape storage is valued for its high capacity, its durability, cost effectiveness. It's suitable for long-term data archiving, right? Additionally, its offline nature provides protection against cyber threats, just like ransomware. So if you don't have to have the thing on a running computer all the time in order for it to stay viable, it can be on a shelf. And if ransomware comes through and wipes out an entire computer system, the tape backups are sitting there ready to go. And so we are now moving to a digital storage system, which is newer and is not really tried and true. And I still think that while this organization is moving away from tape and going back to this digital storage, I really feel in my heart of hearts it's a trick. It's a way to basically move stuff to another storage, and then all of a sudden have a catastrophic failure, and we've lost all this data. And I just see it being nefarious. To save $1 million a year to convert 14,000 magnetic tapes to permanent modern digital records, I think you could also put them on modern digital records. But I think to have the tape as a tertiary backup would be very wise. But I think also there's a lot of things that are going on that aren't very wise right now. So that's probably just part of it. Of course, Microsoft is still pushing forward their end of support date on October 14th, 2025. It's no longer going to receive security updates or technical assistance. The users are still encouraged to check if their current PCs meet the system requirements for Windows 11, and devices that do not support Windows 11, Microsoft suggests considering the purchase of a new machine. You're like, well, just suck it, man. That's terrible. Just want me to go out and buy a new machine? I'm sure, and machines right now are super inexpensive. So I still feel, again, going back to my little pitter patter, heart of hearts, I really feel, that the way that things are going to go is the computer's going to be exorbitantly expensive very soon, very quickly, 65, 75% more expensive, if not 100% more expensive. And Microsoft's going to kind of backtrack a little bit and go, you know what? We don't really need to push this. We're going to push back Windows 11 for another year or something. Or they're going to offer a free extended security update. The extended security update is a thing you can purchase at the end, like October 14th, you buy it, and then you're good until like October 14th, 2026, and you'll get security updates for Windows 10. You just have to pay for it. Kind of silly, but yeah, I think they're going to be pushing it more. They did this actually with Windows 7, but no one knew about it because they didn't really push it that hard. Now everything is so subscription-based. I think they're really going to try to push for it, and Microsoft is going to like really lean on it and might lock. I don't know if they're going to lock computers up. I really don't know. If this was in the Windows 7 days, I'd say absolutely not. No way. But now there's a little bit more control over the machines and stuff, and they might do something weird and sinister like that. I don't know. I don't think so. But again, I'm going to be watching it throughout the summer. We're going to see how things kind of roll. You can go online and I think there's a search for the compatibility, what's it called? A compatibility troubleshooter, or it's a compatibility manager. Just search for a Windows 11 compatibility test, I think is what it is. And you'll get something from Microsoft that you download and actually run on your machine. And it'll search for that TPM chip, the Trusted Platform Module chip, to see if you have it. And if you have it, then you're good to go. If you don't have it, then you will probably need a new computer. Yeah, kind of silly, but that's how it's coming. So the ESU, again, is providing 1 year of extra protection and setting security updates until October 2026 for a fee. And it's just additional time for users to transition to Windows 11. Yeah, and it's a hardware compatibility tool. That's what we're looking for. So the company is also highlighting that Windows 11 delivers enhanced security features, improved performance, and a modern interface, which is kind of bupkis. Windows 10 looks fine. Windows 10 works fine. And Windows 11 is just, I believe, a little bit of a cash grab. So again, watch for it, and I'm going to keep on it, see how it's going. I am on Windows 10 on most of my machines. I just don't like the look of Windows 11. I just don't like Windows 11 very much, to be honest. I just don't like the feel of it. Windows 10 is finally okay, and it's kind of holding on to some of 7's stuff, and I don't want to let go. So that's that. Let's see, anything else scammy-wise? What's this one saying? Oh, of course, scam-wise, if, I want to just throw this out also. When I have clients come to me and I fix their machines and I get all their viruses and stuff taken off, I can't stop those people from calling your house. I can't stop the emails from coming in, especially if you've already kind of fallen susceptible and have given money away. You're on like a super list now, which means that you have to be extra careful for the next month or two because your phone number has been given out as, hey, this person could fall for what you're offering them. So that phone number gets passed around to a lot more people. So if that's the case, then you're going to be getting a lot more phone calls. How to stop those phone calls? Well, you could change your phone number, which no one wants to do. You can change your email address, which no one wants to do. So what do? You write it out, and you make it so that phone number that they're calling and the time that they're using on you is wasted. So you just have to keep in mind that any and every phone call that you see that you don't recognize is someone trying to screw with you. And I've had a couple clients in the past month or two that I've seen multiple times. I don't think I should have seen multiple times, but I had one client who got scammed and brought their machine to me, and I found a bunch of malware, which is how the malware got on their machine from something that we didn't know where it was from. But the malware got on the machine, and that was actually putting up a redirected website with a phone number saying that you were infected. And then they called that phone number, and of course they didn't turn off their caller ID or anything, which no one does. And the person then had their phone number, and they were able to call them back, and then added the phone number. And then this first one they didn't fall for, but then they got called back from something else like a week later, had the person get on their computer, fell for what they were doing, and ended up handing over money. And so then they brought the machine to me. I did a scan. I found the malware, got rid of the malware. They took the computer home. The person called them that night. Not because of any of the malware that I removed, but just because it was in their schedule. They called them and got them to go on their computer again and got stuff reinstalled and re-screwed with and had to have the computer come back literally like the next day. And I kind of, with all kindness, I, equated it to somebody getting an offender bender, going to the shop, getting all the panels replaced and everything, and shaking the hand of the guy who fixed it, the girl that fixed it, the human that fixed it, and then getting in the car and literally having the owner, wave at you while you're driving away across the street directly into that tree. And you get out of your car and you walk back over across the street, and the owner's still standing outside watching the whole thing, and you motion your hands towards the car and go, "What? I just had this fixed. It was just fixed a minute ago." And you go, "Yeah, it was." So so we get, my fixes are like seatbelts in a car. And unfortunately, a lot of times you don't know you're doing 130 miles an hour down the road with your seatbelts off. And I try to make sure that you have your seatbelt on. I try to make sure that you're covered, but I just can't do everything. So with that especially. So these people will call you, even though we get your computer fixed. They'll still hound you via email and stuff. And we just have to have that next level of, I don't think this is right. I'm going to call my computer guy. I'm going to talk to a family member. I'm going to get a second opinion. Let me call you back. Can I get your phone number? And usually that really screws with them. So all in all, if a caller says that your computer has a problem, hang up. Okay. If tech support calls you and you didn't expect a tech support call, it's a scam. Hang up. Even if the phone number is normal or local or looks legitimate, hang up. Hang up. You can get fake caller ID information, all that stuff. So just hang up. Again, it's fake, and especially if you've already kind of fallen to something or something just recently happened, your number's out there and it's fresh and people are going to get to you. So, just keep that in mind. Also, NVIDIA, Gamers Nexus is having some talks about with NVIDIA, and there's a new GPU driver, the graphics processing unit that NVIDIA puts out. The drivers are experiencing issues that can lead to game crashes, particularly when using features like DLSS, frame generation, and G-Sync, which is some of the highest level things that NVIDIA is touting right now for some of their newer games. The problems have been replicated under specific conditions affecting games such as Star Wars Outlaws and Marvel Rivals. For example, Star Wars Outlaws crashes upon resuming from the main menu, while Marvel Rivals crashes are linked to an activation of DLSS. Gamers Nexus, this organization, suggests that driver updates the 566.36, released on December 5th of last year, is the most stable recent version. Again, 566.36 is the most stable recent version as of December last year. However, this driver predates the release of the RTX 5000 series GPUs, and rolling it back may disable features like multi-frame generation and DLSS 4 in some games. So they're working on workarounds for it. They don't have anything yet, but also you can adjust monitor connections using HDMI instead of the DisplayPort, which is crazy. And disabling frame generation or G-Sync or reverting to a more stable driver version like we just talked about from December. The idea that NVIDIA puts out bad drivers is nothing new. There's always some bad driver that's coming out from NVIDIA, it seems. But this one's pretty big. They're having a problem, and it's going all the way back, they said, now to December. That's like 4 months ago. So that's probably could be 2, 3, 4, even 5 versions of drivers, depending. But again, if you're on a HDMI cable, maybe you're not seeing it. DisplayPort works a little bit different. Kind of weird, but that is out and about. So I guess in their 5090 review, they identified that the GPU is basically the best graphics card for 4K gameplay. But the video was also having problems because they couldn't get the driver to work properly. So get it together, man. So you can check that out. There's actually a Gamers Nexus. They have a whole thing on it. It's called Get It Together NVIDIA, and you can check it out from them. Okay, let's jump to a quick break here. We're about the halfway point here on the Computer Man Show on KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQD 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. We're going to listen to a couple important underwriters, the people and organizations that help keep us going, as well as you. And we'll be right back with some more questions, email questions, and current events going on in the computer world, as well as your questions here at 831-900-5773. Again, this is the Computer Man Show here on KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQD 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. We will be right back.
Well, I saw a lot of crying, but I'm out on the road again. I'm on the road again.
Whether you're on the road or at home, you'll never be without your squid. With the KSQD app, you can take the squid everywhere. Connect with your favorite host. Learn about new music. Text a request or comment. Browse our podcasts. Record a message and listen uninterrupted while you browse. Download the KSQD mobile app for iOS or Android at ksqd.org or in your app store. Support for K-Squid comes from the Elkhorn Slough Foundation, announcing Elkhorn Forever, a campaign to conserve land, restore habitat, and protect biodiversity in Monterey Bay's Elkhorn Slough. Learn more at elkhornslough.org/forever. Thank you, Elkhorn Slough Foundation, for supporting community radio KSQD.
My name is Luigi Opido, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers and the host of The Computer Man Show, a 1-hour call-in show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Viruses, slowdowns, scams, and updates. Computers can be a pain, and I'll help you through it.
Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm the computer.
If it has an on switch, we'll probably talk about it on The Computer Man Show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. only on KSQD 90.7 FM Santa Cruz.
Get into a computer.
Hi, I'm Bobby Bishop, host of Be in the Night, bringing you the best I can with jazz, love songs, and soul. Join me on Tuesday evenings from 7 to 10 p.m., playing the classics straight ahead and introducing you to the latest artists and composers. That's Tuesday nights from 7 to 10 p.m. right here on listener-supported KSQD 90.7 FM, Santa Cruz.
Nothing better than a bunch of jazz to get all this computer nonsense out of your brain. That's right, we're talking about jazz coming up at 7 o'clock, and this station has some of the best jazz I've heard. I'm a jazz musician myself, so I know what I'm talking about, but it's Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 7 to 10, jazz is alive and popping here at KSQD. So check it out tonight, starting with Be in the Night, coming up at 7 o'clock. Don't miss it. I never do. So also join K-Squid Wednesday at 6 p.m. for Fun the Bookshelf as Gary Shapiro speaks with popular culture historian Tom Santopietro. His new book is Audrey Hepburn, A Life of Beautiful Uncertainty. That's From the Bookshelf Wednesday at 6 p.m. here on listener-supported K-Squid 90.7 FM, 89.7 and 89.0 FM, and ksqd.org. Many voices, one station. That's right, you can listen to it here only on KSQD and ksqd.org. Of course, jump on that app too and grab our app. Easy, super way, awesome way to connect and listen to K-Squid. So welcome back to the Computer Man Show here. We got a couple more current events, just a few here that's going on. And then we're going to get into some of the email questions and things that are going on, as well as some tips I've got that I've found. All right, so one of the things also that Bill Gates put out, because we just hit the 50th anniversary of Microsoft, which is crazy. Bill Gates has released the original source code for the Altair Basic, the company's inaugural product developed in 1975. It's 157 pages. The PDF is available for download on Gates' personal blog. The Altair Basic was a programming language interpreter designed for the MITS Altair 8800 microcomputer, created by Gates, Paul Allen, and Monty Davidoff. Gates regarded this code as the coolest he's ever written, as it laid the foundation for Microsoft's future software developments, including Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and the Windows operating system. So I guess after reading about the Altair 8800 in a 1975 issue of Popular Electronics, Gates and Allen recognized the potential of personal computing and committed to creating software for the machine. They worked intensively over 2 months to develop the interpreter, which became Microsoft's first official product. The release not only celebrates Microsoft's milestone, but also offers insight to the company's origins and the evolution of personal computing. His blog post provides reflections on the formative period, including the download for the original operating system. So, kind of cool, super nerdy. What's it going to do for you? Nothing. What's it going to do to run something? Not much. Is it going to let you see something that you've never seen before? No. It's just computer nerdism, and it's kind of cool, and current events and stuff. 50 years at Microsoft. So I bet a lot of stuff went into DOS and DOS Tree, which is one of my first things. I was using DOS 5.0 and DOS Tree before, and then I got, actually that was on my 286, and then my dad had an 8088, which he brought home from a friend, and then he broke it, and his friend never gave him another one. he probably blamed the friend for breaking it or something. Anyway, so yeah, kind of weird, but I remember those coming home, and I remember not being able to touch them, which was also super cool until they were broken, which is probably why I'm here with you today. So also email masking, we're going to talk about that real quick. Just again, email masking is basically a service. I've been asked about this a couple times. It's basically to enhance your online privacy, right, and reduce the unwanted emails that you get, which is always a good thing. Basically, the email masking service offers basically generalizes your email address. It generates a generalized email address. There we go. That's my words. Or randomized email addresses, forwarding to your actual inbox. So a lot of services have this. DuckDuckGo has it. Mozilla Firefox's Relay has that. Fastmail, Addy.io, Proton Mail's Simple Login, and Apple's Hide My Email all do this feature where you can basically jump on, and instead of signing up using your email address, you can use a hide your email, which then creates, again, this weird email address that no one ever used, but then forwards that to your email address. So if somebody were to use that email address again, that's not this organization, I don't think it would show up in your inbox, because if someone else had the other email address that was still forwarding, it would be exactly the same as having their email address. So anyway, okay, so but the tools typically provide free and premium options, depending on where you're at, like with the ability to reply to forwarded emails with alternatives such as creating throwaway accounts or using Gmail's plus alias inside those premium features. So email masking is it's if it's automatically being presented to me, I'm going to use it. But if I have to go through and do some extra stuff, I'm already doing extra stuff to get this email going, right? I don't feel like doing extra stuff. So I'll use it as much as I can, but a lot of times, a lot of the email I'm using is garbage anyway. So I've been to clients' homes that are super picky about where they have their inboxes. And I've been to clients' homes that are kind of like my inbox, where I just keep everything, mark it as read, move on. And I'm like, well, I can do a search for it if I need to find it later. And it's just sitting in there. And then when my inbox gets too full, where I need to clear out storage, I just sort by size and delete the largest emails, which usually gives me months more of space. Just email masking is fine. It just, again, it's one of those things, like if you're really picky about the email coming in, and I think it's worth it more to go through your current emails that you have and do the unsubscribe on legitimate emails, spend 5-10 minutes a day on that for a week or two. I find that that's the most successful way to get less emails, rather than using email masking to try to hide the email that you're getting to thwart forwarding and stuff, which works. But if you want to see more immediate results, I would do the 5 or 10 minute blocks of literally unsubscribing. And what I mean by that is when you get on your email, you're done with your email, and you set a 5-minute stopwatch. And in that 5 minutes, you go through, you haven't deleted the mail, you just marked it all as read, and you go down, you go I don't want to get this email from this person. I would get this email all the time, I'm not going to get it. So you open the email, you go to the bottom, you click unsubscribe, and you go and follow through the prompts and unsubscribe. Then you go to the next one, and you do that one. And then your 5 minutes is up, and you stop. Because it's an irritating, awful process, and no one should be doing it for more than 5 minutes. And you do that maybe 2 or 3 times a week, or maybe once a week. And after a month or two of doing that, or let's say after 10 to 15 sessions of doing that, you will notice considerably less emails. And I promise you will. I went from having 300 emails a day down to about sometimes as low as 20, sometimes as many as 70, and that's when I come in the morning. So if I come in the morning, I would have 190 emails, and I get another 100 throughout the day. But now I come in the morning, and I get 35. And throughout the day, then I'll get another 15 or 20. That's manageable to me, and that's okay. And a lot of it's still garbage, but they're coming through, and I have more control over it. So I got it down to a manageable point. I stopped my 5 minutes a day, and it was good. So again, do I want to use the alias thing? Is the alias thing going to help thwart some of those? Yeah, but then I'm also doing more steps when I'm signing up. And a lot of times I'm like, dude, I'm already signing up, and that's taking up most of the energy I want to put into this. So to do an email alias on top of that, I just rather use an email address that I know is going to go to garbage. And that's what most people do. They just have a garbage email address. So 6 and 1, half a dozen another. If you want to do this, great. If you don't want to do it, that also works. It's just, it's another way to not get your email address out there, but your email address is going to get out there. So I don't know. the service works. It does what it's supposed to do. It just doesn't. It's just not. It's not the fix. It'll fix like an 8% fix rather than a 100% fix, or even like a 75% fix, or even 50%. So, okay. Email questions. Let's get into it for the next 17 minutes of the show. This first one I wanted to talk about, and then I have a story that a client came into me today, and I wanted to talk about because it's actually kind of remarkable and kind of awesome. And yeah, so this person says, I spilled water on my computer 6 hours ago. Everything works. Am I good? So earlier today, I spilled about a quarter to a third cup of water on my laptop, specifically on the keyboard. I immediately dried it, returned so that water would not go inside. Oh, okay. Dried it and kept drying it so that the water would not go inside. I left it upside down for about 6 hours and did not turn it on or it never turned off or stopped working. I'm sorry, it stayed on the whole time. It never turned off or stopped working. Wow. Okay. Let me start over here. So we spilled water on the computer 6 hours ago. About a quarter or a third of a cup spilled on the keyboard. They immediately dried it but left it on while upside down and never turned it off, and it stayed on, and never stopped working. Okay. I still turn it off to avoid any issue. Okay. Now I've turned it on and everything still works. The screen, keyboard, the pad, everything. Nothing is wrong with my laptop. Does it mean I'm out of the woods, or is there any possibility that things could still go wrong? I'm really stressed out. I can't afford to lose my laptop. Okay. Again, it's not the water that's the problem. It's the minerals and the things, that's the impurities, the stuff inside the water that's going to cause the corrosion. That's what's going to cause the corrosion of the connection points later on, 2, 3, 4 weeks down the road. And when that happens, when it dries out. And could be a bunch of corrosion, could be a little bit of corrosion, could be no corrosion. The fact that it works now does not mean it will not short out or screw up in the next few days or so, or weeks, or months, or whatever. If you can, we want to clean those affected parts with isopropyl alcohol. If you can, remove power, clean them with isopropyl alcohol. That'll flush out any of the impurities and let it dry. And there are guides online for that. But I had a client today who called me, who actually came in. And I had just transferred, she just bought a brand new laptop and transferred all of her data over to it like 2 months ago, like something very, very recently. And she brought it to me today because she spilled a whole bunch of water on it. And she was talking to me, I can't be without the machine. And I'm like, well, if you can't be without the machine, you're kind of out right now because you spilled a whole bunch of water on it. She goes, oh, no, it still works. I've been using it. I'm like, oh, you've been using it. Okay. And it's a MacBook, so you can't just like turn it upside down and take the battery out or anything, right? So she's using this machine still. And I go, okay, well, if you're still using it, that's fine. I guess we'd really want to get the bottom off. We want to get some air flowing through it. Again, do an alcohol bath if we can to get it just cleaned out of any of those impurities. And she goes, well, actually, she goes, okay, that sounds good, but I'll bring it to you later in the week. I'm like, okay, that's that's what you can do. So I'll see you later in the week. And she calls me back and she goes, hey, I just wanted to just throw this out there. She's like, her words, she goes, I'm kind of weird. I drink distilled water. And I go, really? And she goes, yeah. She goes, I'm like, was that the water that spilled on your computer? And she goes, yeah. I'm like, so you may have just saved yourself. If you drink distilled water, I'm like, just to make sure, because I'm not a distillery or even I'm slightly a chemist. I was at one point, but just to make sure, distilled water has been water that has been purified by removing impurities through boiling and condensation. It's safe to drink, but lacks minerals and electrolytes found in tap water. So, by this person drinking distilled water and then spilling that onto their laptop, that is like the best possible solution in the entire world. I've never had that. That's amazing, because that machine's probably fine and probably will be fine because there aren't any impurities in the water. The water will dry. It won't leave anything behind. Therefore, you're good. And that's not going to have anything that's going to corrode the connection points as far as I know. So, is this person in the email kind of messed up? They could be. If they don't get the time off, they could have some corrosion. They could have some bad stuff that could happen a little bit later. But my client, I don't even know if I need her to come in on Friday, because by the time Friday rolls around, she's been using her computer all week. The heat alone should dry the machine out, and the water is already distilled, so it's almost impure as it is. I'm very curious, and I will keep you posted. We're gonna get the machine in on Friday, most likely, and pull it apart and just get it on our drying bench for the weekend, and then give it back to her on Monday and see how it goes. But I think she's gonna be just fine. I'm actually very interested to see how it goes over the next few days, and of course I'll keep you posted. But weird, and also best case scenario ever, right? So drink distilled water on your computer, I guess. Yeah, wow, cool. All right, this one says, D drive has issues after waking up from sleep. Some files won't run. I had a client, actually, that just had an issue with this where they had their desktop machine, which is their main desktop, which also hosts their network files for 2 other computers in the office. They come in the morning, and the machine can't get to those files, They usually have to restart the computer, and then the files are all accessible, and it works just fine. And I found out that the machine was actually putting the drive to sleep. It was using power settings to turn the drive off, and which was making the drive inaccessible and was not waking back up when it comes back in. So this person says D drive has issues after waking up from sleep, which sleep is one of the least best things for. It's not bad for a computer, but if I'm coming back from sleep and something doesn't work, I go, okay, it's because I was just asleep. I got to restart my computer. Just automatically. Because I'll bring my computer back from sleep, and a lot of times everything works just fine. But I'll bring it back from sleep sometimes, and I'll open up my web browser, and it just sits there. And sits there, and sits there. And you go, oh, okay, all right, I'll restart you. Restart, everything's fine. So, because sleep is taking everything out of RAM, putting it into a hard drive spot, turning the machine off into a low power state, turning the machine back on when you power it back up, and shoving everything from the hard drive back into RAM. And hopefully all those places are exactly the same places. Sometimes they're not. So they said some files won't run. Going back to the email here. Check disk shows as raw. That's not great. Doesn't show up in Crystal Mark, but rebooting fixes it. Ooh. Says, having issues with my D drive, which is a solid-state drive, which is primarily used for game storage. When I wake up my PC from sleep, I sometimes am not able to launch apps that are installed on it, mostly Steam, etc. It also stops showing up in the software, such as Crystal Mark, which probably also stops showing up in computer management and all those other places. If I reboot or restart the computer, software on the drive seems to function just fine, such as showing up in Check Disk as an option or Crystal Mark as an SSD. When I restart and check Crystal Mark, the drive health is showed in 99%. There is 0 critical warnings, 0 data integrity issues. I'm unsure whether or not I have to just bite the bullet and format it, or whether risking a check disk /F is a better option. That's just fixing check disk, which wouldn't do anything. Or what other options I have, or what the issue is. It's a Kingston drive. If you need any other specs, let me know. So I would say... actually, I went online and was reading other people's things of what people said about this dude, and none of them said, they're like, oh, it's the chipset, oh, it's the driver, it's your SATA cable. I'm like, dude, I have never had to replace a SATA cable. I'm sorry. I've been doing this for almost 2 decades here in Santa Cruz almost, and on top of everything else I've done with computers, I've never had to replace a SATA cable. I maybe once, let's say once, right? And it just doesn't happen. There's other times where like, oh, I replaced the SATA cable. It's like, well, because I drilled through it. Like, well, okay, you drilled through it. So, yeah, it's gonna be okay. It's kind of off the side, but this almost definitely is a sleep issue, and a sleep issue with the drive. And then you're like going, oh, how do you do that? Well, you have to go into the power settings. And then, it's not just putting the computer to sleep and creating it back, and we go, oh, tell the hard drive not to do that. You have to actually go into the advanced power settings, and then go to the advanced drive settings for power under the power settings for the drive. So when you do that, you'll go in and it'll find some additional settings, and under those additional settings will be the power save settings. And you want the hard drive to never go to sleep. You don't want the hard drive to go to sleep. If the computer goes to sleep, yes, of course the hard drive is going to go to sleep because the entire machine is going to sleep. If the computer turns off, the computer is going to shut off. But if you say do not put the hard drive to sleep, the computer will completely continue pinging the machine, pinging the hard drive, keeping it as a keep alive, keeping it as a drive that's waiting to be accessed. And then when you go to access it, it'll be there waiting. Otherwise, if it doesn't get access for a while, which a D drive sometimes doesn't, it'll go to a low power state and wait for it to hear a keep alive. And sometimes you send the keep alive, it doesn't hear it. So the drive stays off. So you shut the computer off, you turn it back on, and when you do that, everything is firing up, including that drive, including all the new keep alive. So everything fires up, which is why you're not having a problem when you restart it. So sleep sucks, and always kind of has, but it works better than it did. So if you're using sleep, just keep in mind that sleep sucks and that you're probably going to have to do something like restart or like fixing something possibly when you come back from sleep at any point. Anytime I put my computer to sleep, which is rare, I'm doing it for a very specific reason, like I'm going across the building and I don't want to leave my computer on for 10 minutes while I'm walking across the platform or something like that, and then I turn my computer back on from sleep and I'm right back where I was. Or if I'm in the middle of a software suite that I need to do something and I can't shut the computer off because I don't have enough battery power to make it across the campus or something, or I'm on a rooftop and something like that. And then, but when I come back, I am always expecting that something's not going to be right. A lot of times it's not. It's fine. But if it's not, then I can go, okay, I just have to restart real quick and I'm fine. I don't have to start going into all these other crazy things like chipsets and drivers and no. It's most likely the simplest thing, power. And the power's not coming back after a sleep state because sleep sucks. And that's basically how it boils down. In my experience. It could be something else, but that's what I've experienced. Plugging and unplugging a wireless mouse. So I bought a Logitech MX Master 3S several days ago. Okay, and initially I was planning on using it as my home setup, but also bring it with me to work since my work mouse kind of sucks. Okay. Question is it bad for a mouse if I constantly unplug it and plug it to move it from my computer to work and back? First of all, I'm going to say no. I have a mouse that I use in my laptop bag, and because when I'm doing certain things, I don't like to use the trackpad. So I literally, every time I take my laptop out, I plug this mouse in and I unplug it, and I plug it in and I unplug it, and it's been unplugged and plugged back in many, many, many times. That has not been an issue. Moving on, it says, move over my girlfriend often comes to stay at my place for a week or so, and she plays a lot of FPS games on my PC, so she brings her own gaming mouse, and then we have to swap between those two as well. Is it damaging for the mouse, or am I overthinking it? You're overthinking it. Yeah, it's a USB-A connection. It's a standard plug-in connection that USB-A has had forever. They are made to both plug and unplug with ease. USB-C now, I have found, has started to loosen up a little bit depending on the quality and the connector that you have. So USB-A, no problem. That's fine. USB-C, it can get, it's a little more fragile. So, yeah. I brought this one up. I had actually talked about this about a couple months ago, but I want to bring it up again because somebody actually talked to me about this, something similar, and I wanted to just bring it up. This is weird. It said, heard a car crash on my phone 3 days ago, as I was doing yard work and my iPhone 15 was sitting on the deck, came up to grab it and checked what plant I had just pulled when I heard a man's voice on the phone talking on the phone. So I thought I had left a YouTube video playing, but there wasn't anything playing. None of my apps were open, and I definitely was not on a call. There was nothing at the top of my phone indicating any type of call or video. It sounded like a man talking to somebody on his car speaker, but I could only hear him talking, and then it sounded like he crashed his car. Complete silence after that, and no other audio played. This also came from the speaker that a phone. This also came from the speaker that a phone call uses at the top. Oh, okay, not the speaker that the videos play from. Okay, so on your phone, that's what they were talking about. So, I figured it was just a glitch in an app in the background of my phone. I had multiple apps up. Okay, I thought the apps were closed. But now a few days later, I just heard a grown man yell, "What the F?" from my phone, and then silence. I am officially freaked out. Can this be an app problem, or do I need to burn my phone? Okay. So sometimes ads will play on your phone. Sometimes there'll be some crosstalk of some random thing if you're under some crazy. I mean, I heard something was like under power lines or something. There was some crosstalk. Someone also said that they were standing next to like an AM transmitting tower, and something like it would energize like, two nails that were stuck next to each other and actually would energize them. You could hear the AM frequencies going through there's weird stuff that radio frequencies can do. Possibly something on your phone, possibly not. It could have been an unshielded something that got into the speakers. I don't know, but I think the most common thing is that a video was playing on Safari or continued playing the audio in the background. And if you had multiple apps open, if you had nothing running, then I would think it'd be something else, like a crosstalk from something else like that, energizing the speaker cable or something. But if you had apps open, I would say it's most likely something from an app or like a video playing or something, or some other type of glitch with the actual software. It's a weird one, but someone else came to me just recently in the shop with that, kind of the same thing, and I just, I couldn't tell if that was something that was legit or if it was something that, maybe like a personal problem thing or anything. So. Okay, moving on, we got about another 3 minutes here. What Wiping my PC. I'm not sure how to ask, but I'll sure explain the situation. I'm planning to give my current PC away, but I'm a little worried about all my information and everything on it. I also have an NVIDIA account with my PC, which I use to update my drivers. What happens to all that? How do I make it where the PC is brand new again, similar to when I first got it, so the next person has no problem? I'd recommend... so you can do a couple things. We can recommend, like I wrote my recommendation here of, wiping the drive, taking the hard drive out. Depending on who you're giving it to, if it's like just a family member, you could do a reset on the machine, which would wipe all of your personal data and wipe also the third-party software and leave the operating system and everything activated on the machine. That's an option that works a lot better than it used to. Another one, if you are giving it to a family member but you want to keep all the software, is just deleting your username and all the data that comes with your username. So you copy that off, you delete your username, create a new username. All the software remains on the computer, but has a new username that everything's associated with. That's an idea. Or if you really want to go nuclear, you would pull the hard drive out, install a new hard drive in it, and put a clean operating system on it. But I really think that if you were just to be at the login screen on your computer, hold the shift key down, and then so you haven't logged in, you haven't clicked your name or anything, and after you've gotten all your data off the machine, hold the shift key down, you hit the power button, go to restart. It's going to restart to a blue screen, and then that's going to go, or actually, you don't even need to do that. If you're already booted in, you can hit the Windows I key, go to System, then go to Recovery, then go to Reset PC. And then at that point, you can go All Files, which removes everything from the machine, and it will take it to basically an out-of-box state. Obviously, make sure it's plugged in if it's a laptop, but that's one of the easiest ways you can get into the machine and remove everything. Windows will have all the drivers still there. After the reset, it's you can set up with a local account, install just the relevant drivers that are there, or you can even run Explorer and install them so the next guy can use it, their Microsoft account during setup. So either way, depending on how much you want to give away or how well you would like to set up for the next person or who's getting it, a stranger or a family member, you can really kind of streamline and set it up down. But there's a number of different ways you can strip it down easily that shouldn't cost you anything extra. Yeah. Okay, well, we're at the end of another Computer Man show. If I missed your call tonight, you can always reach me by email, Luigi, Luigi, at pleasurepointcomputers.com, or jump onto pleasurepointcomputers.com and just hit me up through the email, through the website, or Luigi at ksqd.org. Remember to tune in to the Computer Man show Tuesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. here on 90.7 FM, KSQD, KSQD. I'd like to thank all my listeners and my callers. Thank you, KSQD, Sandy Stone, Howard Felstein, Rachel Gibbon, David Kibrick, John Sanders, all of Santa Cruz, Nikola Tesla, the Woz, Mr. Geeks, Studio Torvalds, and of course, the humble Electron. Thank you again, Santa Cruz. I'm your Computer Man here on KSQD, KSQD 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. Stay tuned right here for Be in the Night. I hope you all have a positively charged evening. Until next time.
I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. Computer man, he is your friend. He gonna help you again and again. So if you have a question or two, he's got the answer just for you. I am the computer man, and I am ready for questions now, thank you.
Mr. Computer Man, how much is 2 plus 2?
4.
Mr. Computer Man, how do you spell cat?
C-A-T.
Mr. Computer Man, how do you spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
With letters. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. Computer man is very wise. He speaks the truth, he never lies. So if there's something you don't understand, just ask the computer man.
Hi, Mr. Computer Man. My name is Jenny. I have a question for you.
Wait, Jenny does not compute. What is your number, please?
Number? I don't have a number. I'm a person.
A person? A person? A man?